What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the Triple Play Fantasy Football Show. We are now a proud member of Empire Media and the Empire Media Podcast Network. D. Mendy here, joined as always by Johnny Foosball, John Van Etten. John, if I were to ask you the Kenyon Drake of movies, what would that be?
Oh, dang. You always put me on the
That's
spot.
tough.
Little known secret, people. We don't rehearse this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Talladega Nights. You know, it's a little underrated. You know, it's gonna be the two of a 1-2 Will Ferrell punch, but certainly holds its own.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give that to you for being on the spot. Also joined by a guy I wouldn't be shocked if he told me he took cold showers. It's the Bradstradamus, Brad Kilgore. What's going on?
Cold showers. What about me says cold showers?
You get up at 4 a.m. to watch a movie every morning.
That's true. That is a little serial killer-ish of me. All right,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I don't take cold showers, though. The showers are hot.
Okay, well, I'm glad you set the record straight for that. We're down to Doc tonight. He should be on the show in a little bit. He's coming home from work. But what if I told you we had a man to not just replace Doc, but carry the load of 10 men on this podcast? Fellas, joining the pod tonight, we welcome in a man that might be the biggest Kadarius Toney fan in existence. The host of CBS's Fantasy Football Today. This is a guy I might advise against co-owning a team with. Fellas, this dude is the 2018 FSGA Host of the Year, the author of Aizer Stats, and he's my idol in this very space. We welcome in the A-Man, Adam Aizer. What's going on, man?
Is that the Gallman music?
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I didn't know what to use. I also made you a little little gif of him.
Oh, look at that.
Now that's expert Photoshop. Right there.
Man, love it. Thank you. And you're the first person who's ever called me a man, so thank you.
Also noted Beastie Boys hater.
Noted hates the Beastie Boys. I consider them a parody band. They are like the Lonely Island. They make songs that sound like a parody of better songs.
I think Fight for Your Right to Party was supposed to be a parody, and then it just took off as just a song.
Yeah.
That's true. I could see that being the case. It's a ridiculous song.
I never understood the Beastie Boys love. I guess I was just in the wrong era.
Yeah, Adam, if I don't stop them this early, they'll go on the whole podcast talking about movies and music. So I'll rein it in here. I was asked before the show, I'm going to read this to you. Ask Aizer, how much fun is it to live chat while doing mock drafts? Do you think
Who the hell's that from?
It's Scott Fish.
So I really embarrassed myself. Last week, Scott was in a draft with us. We did a rookie only draft. We did a super flex dynasty startup mock draft. But before we did that, we did a rookie only draft in the draft room, and Heath ran it. And all we had to do was it was a non-snake. I don't know why it was a non-snake. It would have been so much easier if he had just made it a snake draft. But Heath ran it, and all you had to do was name a rookie. But I said, hey, can we actually make the draft picks so that way we can see which ones are off the board? It will be easier. So he's like, fine. Because this is something we did the week before when Heath wasn't there and a different rookie only draft, but whatever. So everything was going fairly smoothly. Because it was a non-snake draft, there were times when you would be on the clock, but it really wouldn't be your pick, if that makes sense. So in the even number rounds, right? So I thought we were in an even number round, and I was on the clock, and I wouldn't pick. And he's like, make a pick. I'm like, it's not my pick. He's like, make a pick. It's not my pick. He's like, it is your pick. And then I saw we were in an odd number round, and I was like, oh, it's my pick. So I screwed up a few times. But I was making my notes for an upcoming podcast. I sort of had an excuse, and I wasn't paying attention. And everybody was just killing me in the chat room, including Scott Fish.
Was it this podcast?
No, it was Fantasy Football Today. I was getting ready. We were about to record an episode actually during the draft. So I was trying to get ready and do a mock draft at the same time. And you really humiliated myself.
What kind of sorcery is with like even number, odd number rounds? I've never even heard of a draft like that.
Well, no. So, like I'm not explaining it right. So in a snake draft, I had the 10th pick, which means I had the 15th pick. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So the 15th pick in this draft, though, was not my pick because that was the even number round, and it was a non-snake startup dynasty draft. And we were just using the draft room to clear the rookies as they got picked. so it'd be easier for us to see who was available. You know what I mean? We're doing this rookie only mock draft. Does this make any sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So in the third round, it was actually my turn, and I thought we were in an even number round, and it was the third pick of the round. I thought it was the team 3, but it was actually me. Whatever. So anyway, I was as confused that day as all of you are now.
Yeah, that's pretty confused. But
Brad, you got it right.
Yeah. No, I'll say man. I got it. Yeah.
Riveting draft talk.
Suck, dude.
So I was also I was promised to mention also Aizer is the best host bar none of any podcast host out there. Not just on air talent, the way he preps and more. Love that guy.
Frank.
Oh, that one's from you, David.
Well, that's that obviously, but no, Scott said that too.
Was that from Frank?
No, that was from Scott.
Scott White?
No, Scott Fish.
Oh, Scott Fish. Oh, okay. Oh, well, thank you, Scott. Scott's the nice
Sour Patch Kid, man. He gives you some shame and some love.
I love Scott. Scott Fish is the best in the business. Great guy.
Oh, yeah, we love Scott Fish here. But we got a great show tonight. We got a lot of fun stuff planned here. Tonight's episode, we have the NFC East preview. Our division previews are set to commence as we're set to boom it here with the Adam Aizer kicking this off for us here. We got 8 divisions. So obviously first one tonight. We're going to look at fantasy relevant positions for all of the players in the NFC East. And we're going to look at impact rookies, breakout sleepers, and busts. Of course, Adam's going to be talking about his Giants, making sure that he educates you guys on who to look at and who to stay away from on that team. And of course, these other guys here will give their thoughts on some of these other teams here. Then we'll move to our question of the week. Which current NFL player do you think would be the best actor? And as always, we have our game of the week revealed at the end of the show. So if you guys are ready to get another episode started, then man, we're here to do it for you. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. Adam, I was thinking if I wanted to do that or not. I was like, do I want to break his eardrums? But it's kind of my thing.
Do it.
I preemptively turned mine down.
That was great. I loved it.
It's help bring up energy, It's
absolutely. You got to feel it. There are times when I feel like our show is just like we're all a little calm, and I just have to sort of do something silly to get the guys going. So I respect that.
I love it. Well, we got some not a ton of news. Obviously, it's like a kind of a slow time for news coming in right now. But I'm wondering, have you seen these quads, Adam? Because those are massive. And
Mike Davis photoshopped on me, I believe.
And yeah, he's been the talk of Twitter recently, and he's even talking about it himself. So I'm curious. Obviously, he's in a great situation in Atlanta right now. There's not really any competition there. Do you think that this picture alone could bump him up a couple rounds? What are you thinking?
No, I don't think so. I hope people don't really care that much about his quads. Saquon Barkley has some of the craziest, most athletic legs I've ever seen, and he's had leg injuries 2 years in a row. So the quads really shouldn't mean anything. But as Heath said on our show today, actually, and I think he also said it on Monday, I wasn't on the show, maybe we should just stop overthinking this Mike Davis thing, and he should probably be about a RB20 or something like that. I'm not going to be as high on him as Heath will be. I can't just assume that he's going to get the job. He probably will, but we got to see how. Look, we have preseason this year. We have training camp this year, normal training camp. We have reporter access more so we won't have to make these guesses. We'll have a better idea of it. If he's the lead running back for Atlanta, then he's a solid number 2 running back, but with the possibility to lose the job. So I just don't think he's that good. I know he breaks a lot of tackles, but he had a great start last year, and then he was extremely pedestrian. I wouldn't want to put too many of my hopes on Mike Davis, and I wouldn't want to put any hopes on anyone's thighs.
When are we going to stop being surprised that athletes are athletic?
Yeah.
Like those pictures of DK Metcalf being strong. People are like, oh, he's strong. It's like, well, yeah, he's a professional athlete. Come on, guys, get it together.
Tim Tebow is going to look like Mike Davis by like week 5.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but hopefully he's actually not on the roster at that point, so we don't actually have to talk about him. I don't know how I know you guys are obviously talking about it on the show, but I'm sure it gets so repetitive. You're just like, enough with this.
We haven't really talked about it that much. I don't think we take it too seriously. I don't see how he's going to have any fantasy value. He's not going to be running routes, catching passes as a tight end threat. I think he could, if he makes the team. Someone tweeted me today, I think I may have even brought this up on the show, is he could play like a Taysom Hill role.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
QB
right?
eligibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, he could.
This is a bad take.
Him being good in that role, but he's also 34. So, but there's anything I feel like he could do would be kind of gadget plays. But
This is a bad take. This is a bad take. Don't doubt him. There's too much doubt going on right now for Tim Tebow. I don't have a counter argument yet. I'm gonna think of one eventually, but I'm telling you, he's gonna start. He's gonna do something crazy, like be like a top 10 fantasy tight end this year. Tim Tebow, I'm telling you, don't sleep on him. He's got too much doubt.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're gonna lose Adam. Thanks, Brad. So.
No, I think he was appropriately doubted in baseball.
Yeah.
I think he'll be appropriately doubted in football now.
We'll see.
Well, there's some other more news. There's a lot of Texans news. They signed Tawan Taylor to, a 1-year deal. It's nothing crazy. Veterans minimum. He'll be in the mix there. They signed this dump truck of a man, Jeff Driscoll, to Adam, have you ever seen that picture?
Wow. There's some cheeks right there.
I have not seen that.
I thought that was from Magic Mike.
Yeah.
That looks like the Blue
Is
Mountain
that real? Is
State
that
jerseys.
photoshopped?
No, it was all the girls in the fantasy football space that I seen.
It was a humid day.
I'm moving the man up on my draft boards right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, so they signed the dump truck known as Jeff Driscoll to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. But the key thing I saw was Deshaun Watson, the deposition's not going to be till February 22nd, over a week after the Super Bowl. So unless there's a settlement prior to that date, Watson could theoretically be able to play the entire 21 campaign with Houston.
No.
You guys Adam, what are you thinking? Are you is he playing with, take the legal stuff out of it, just your gut? Is he playing week 1 for the Texans?
Why would you take the legal stuff out of it?
This is not a legal discussion. It's more just like a plain.
But you can't remove it out of it.
Is he playing?
That's the reason he's not going to play.
That was a big deal that he can't be deposed until after the Super Bowl. Now the Texans can safely make the Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson. No, I think he'll get traded. I don't really think he's going to be back. That seems like a really toxic situation. Feels like it feels even shakier than the Aaron Rodgers situation to me. Like all the Packers have to do is fire Brian Gutekunst. I don't know what the Texans need to do to keep Deshaun Watson. I don't know how much they want him right now. I don't know. I don't mean that to say that as if they don't, but obviously it's been a tumultuous offseason for him. Now, even if the legal process doesn't play out, the NFL could obviously still put him on the exempt list. So we don't know. It's too much to speculate, but I would say week 1 for either being on the exempt list or being on a different team. I do not see him on the Texans.
That's fair. I could see that. It'll be interesting to watch how it plays out. I think right now he's ranked as QB 25 on Fantasy Pros. So it'll be, if you go and you take that risk and he ends up playing week 1 somewhere, that's gonna be huge value. So we'll see how that plays out.
That's an interesting take that you think he's going to be traded. Actually, I think he's kind of untouchable right now. I think we're up to like 44 women accusing him. Like that's kind of wild.
Let's put a bookmark in this, and let's move to more football news here. The last bit of news I want to talk about: Julio Jones going on undisputed. He's talking about how upset he is. That face does not look like the man that's happy where he's at right now. He's rumored to go to New England. Said no to Dallas. So go around the horn real quick. Just give where you think he's going to go. Obviously, they couldn't keep him for the money that he has on his contract. Adam, week 1, where's Julio Jones playing?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll just say the Chargers. I know they've been rumors, so let's go with the Chargers.
Doc?
I hate to say it, but the Chiefs.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Brad?
I like the Ravens.
Oh, God, let's hope not. John?
Titans.
All right. Fair enough. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you never miss one by clicking the subscribe button wherever you find your podcasts. Want to hear more Triple Play? Great news for you. We have a fantasy baseball and basketball show you can check out, available anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're enjoying the content, how about hooking the boys up with a 5-star rating and review to support the show? Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TripPlayFantasy and the website tripplayfantasy.com. You'll see Doc tweet about things you don't care about, but somehow gets interaction. You'll see tons of articles, videos, podcasts, and even some movie reviews from those two gentlemen on the right side of your screen. Make sure you check that stuff out. And remember, if you're looking for a podcast that's going to make you feel like you're back in the good old days, like the 1990s, I'm talking about where sugar was on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You call your girlfriend from a phone booth and Twitter sounded like something you did with your thumbs. Then look no further than this podcast right here, because I'm telling you, it just might change your life. If you're listening, if you're watching the live version, we're not going anywhere. If you're listening to the podcast version, we got to pay our bills, and we'll jump right back in after these quick messages from our sponsor. And we're back. So, NFC East preview. Adam, is it weird like being on the other side of this when you have to do like all the talking?
I love it. It's fun. You guys are doing awesome. How old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 29, and then you guys are all pretty much 27, 26.
27.
I turned 43.
You think in your 90s? You guys
No, David made that up. And why would be calling from the phone booth be a good old day thing?
Yeah,
It's nostalgia.
You have no idea what a phone booth is. Are you kidding? I used to go to TGI Fridays, and they had these phone booths in there, and me and my friends would just like hang out in there while we waited for our food. I'm a 90s kid. You're a 2000 kid, man.
Adam, have you ever heard of a show called Super Friends?
Yeah, I've heard of Super Friends.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Okay.
Right.
I won't get into that debate. Graham Barfield said he never heard of the show and acted like I was from another planet. But no, but Adam, I grew up.
Some of the Super Friends are.
Adam,
The thing is, if you were born before 95, you're a 90s baby. You round down.
No, but you didn't grow up in the 90s. You grew up in the 2000s, right?
I don't think I remember some. I think I was in kindergarten in 1999.
I was born in the 80s, but I'm a 90s kid. I'm a Blind Melon, Stone Temple Pilots. Like, I'm a 90s kid, you know.
Beastie Boys hating.
So wait, can we be 90s? Can we be 90s babies but 2000s kids?
Yeah,
Is that how it works?
I'm
Absolutely.
an 80s kid. I'm an 80s baby, but a 90s kid. I mean, all of my memories are from the 90s. My first memories, my Cinnamon Toast Crunch days are from the 90s.
Okay. Did you know that they came out and said that the churros ones are the original recipe from the original Toast Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I didn't know. I didn't even know the churros. Well, I have a kid now, and if you have any of you have kids?
No, not yet.
Yeah, those types of cereals are like poison. Nobody gives their kids those cereals anymore. It's just like Cheerios and that's it. I can't believe you guys used to drink Coca-Cola. That's now nobody has that stuff anymore. In my opinion,
No more brand talk. They gotta pay us.
Another date and another
General
time.
Mills, cut us a check.
We'll have to go over those cereal rankings you guys had, because those were awful. But I had disagreements with every single tier you guys put in.
That was Mike Wright, I believe.
Way to suck up to your guest, David.
No, but I'm saying he was wrong. How's that sucking up?
It was sarcasm. You obviously can't detect it.
Captain Crunch is the best, but that's for another day.
All
right. NFC East preview. Starting with the quarterbacks here, because I want to, obviously everything starts with the quarterback. I want to go to you first, Adam, for the Giants. And obviously Daniel Jones is the guy in New York. 13.5 PP points per game in 14 games last year. Not great. The Giants have done a lot this offseason to give him everything he needs to be successful. So it's basically up to him now. You have Kadarius Toney being drafted. I know much again you love him. Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley's back in the fold. He's had fumbling and interception problems pretty much since he's been drafted, but he has the playmakers there to make the next step forward. And right now he's going QB 22 off the board after throwing for under 3,000 yards and 11 touchdowns last year. But he did have the 400 yards on the ground. What are your thoughts about Daniel Jones? Is this could he make that way to borderline QB1? Or is this a guy, again, that you're leaving on the waiver wire here?
Well, look, if you play 16 games, Heath pointed this out on a recent podcast. If you play 16 games, you have a pretty good chance of being a borderline top 12 quarterback. So there's that. But if you just want to talk about per game, I don't think it's that hard for him to become startable. I don't really see how he's going to become great because Jason Garrett really likes to run the ball. I think what we saw from Gallman last year was the Giants' tendencies toward the goal line is really to hammer the football in with the run. So I think touchdowns are going to be an issue for Daniel Jones, as they have been, except for about 4 games in his career where most of his touchdowns have come. I mean, he's basically 1 touchdown a game. I forget the exact number, but you take away the 3 or 4 big games from Daniel Jones, and you're lucky to get 1 touchdown, maybe 2 on a rare occasion. But the rushing totals are nice. He's sneaky athletic, and I think you leave him on your waiver wire in a 1 quarterback league. In a 2 quarterback league, it is a risk, but I would say it's a risk. It's so hard to see him getting benched, right? They're going to stick with him. You said they gave him everything to help him out, but they didn't give him offensive line help, and the offensive line was truly terrible last year. It was also very young. So if some of the younger players, they had 3 rookies in the rotation last year, if some of them can take a step up, that would be huge for them. They did lose Kevin Zeitler, though, who was probably their best offensive lineman. So I think, I think you look at him around the 20th quarterback or so off the board, because he is going to run a little bit, and they are kind of loaded, quasi-loaded with weapons offensively. They don't have any incredibly great players, but they don't have serious weaknesses. I think he could be fine, but I just don't see how he has huge upside in a 1 QB league.
So you don't think the rushing floor could potentially get him there, and potentially also with more touchdown luck? I mean, he was in single-digit touchdowns till the very end of the season. You don't think that combining those two, the potential? I know you said the potential would be there, but you're not.
Luck is a strong word for not being good. Touchdown luck.
Yeah, and it's Jason. I just don't really like Jason Garrett that much, but this is the second year in a system, and that's going to help him. I'm just trying to. So let's see. He had 4 touchdowns in one game, 4 in another, and 5 in another. So that is 13 touchdowns, and in his career, he has 35 in 27 games. So that's 22 touchdowns in 24 games, right? Other than the 3 huge games that he had. So at this point, it doesn't really feel like luck to me. It just feels like he's not going to throw a lot of touchdowns. But Golladay could change that. Ingram is a sleeper. I know you're going to get to sleepers, breakouts, busts. Shepard's reliable. Tony is probably a gadget player. I don't think he has a big year. And I don't love him that much because I hate the game.
I know.
Okay. But I did like the pick. I'm rooting for him now. I'm a Tony fan now. It's just there. You could make the case for so many quarterbacks. Look, if you just want upside, I would take Derek Carr over Daniel Jones. But if you're like, all right, whatever, this is a best ball league and I just want upside, he still has upside that other quarterbacks don't. He still has more upside than a guy like Derek Carr. I think he still has more upside than a Jared Goff, than these immobile guys, basically. So I just don't see any chance of him being like a top 6 quarterback. I don't see him taking that kind of Josh Allen leap or anything. But yeah, he could flirt with top 12 if everything goes right.
Eric, I want to transition to you because we talked about upside and we talked about guys that potentially can make a Josh Allen type leap. Jalen Hurts, a guy who's right now not even the guaranteed starter, if you want to put the quotes there. Hurts showed
Joe Flacco going to start over him?
Yeah, he could.
I hate this smoke screen of, Jalen Hurts isn't the starter. They didn't move on from Carson.
Hey, Eric, do you want me to set you up before you talk?
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Hurts showed his potential in week 15 when he racked up 338 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air and 63 yards on the ground and a touchdown.
I don't know. No. I just want to hear Doc spit.
Let me just say, over the last 4 starts, he threw 3 interceptions and had 6 fumbles. Very polarizing player this offseason. I've seen some put him as high as in the top 5 quarterbacks in redraft with that rushing upside. Right now, he's the QB 11 off the board after throwing for 6 scores and running 3 in 3.5 games. 23.7 points per game, which would have made him QB 7 if he basically kept that up through the season. He has the 10th easiest schedule going into next year. Go ahead, Doc. You want to talk about him? Take it away.
So I hate the smoke screen of, is Jalen Hurts the starter? You didn't get rid of Carson Wentz and create that whole controversy if he wasn't going to be your franchise moving forward. Now, he start and finished 3 games. And I say finished because that whole week 17 against the Washington football team, he averaged 282 passing yards and averaged 80 rushing yards. I think they gave him a little bit better weapons with Devonta Smith. I'm a Greg Ward fan myself. I think Dallas Goedert provides a little bit more consistency at tight end at this position. But I want to ask you guys this. Week 15, Jalen Hurts had 37.8 fantasy points. Is that going to be the best fantasy point game he has for his career?
It better not be sitting on my dynasty team.
Absolutely not.
Adam, what do you think?
I mean, that's actually you're talking about 4 point per passing touchdown leagues.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's 43 points for him in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues. That's a hell of a game. So he could still have a really good career and never beat that. That was what? That was 4 touchdowns, 338 passing yards, and 63 rushing yards.
Yeah, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and 1 guy that played against him in the semifinals because a guy picked him off the waiver wire.
I think he'll have a better game than that. But even if he didn't have a better game than that, he could still be a very, very fantasy relevant quarterback.
There's no doubt he's going to have a better game than that. If you
37.8 is a lot.
Well, if you say he's not, that's essentially projecting that he's never going to get better. He's dual threat. He can run for over 100 yards in a game. He can score on the ground. Like he's going to have bigger games than that.
He could have 25 to 35 points every game for 16 game seasons, break the single season points for a quarterback, and still not hit more than 37.8. But
all right, well, let's
I was going to say my thoughts on him. I think he flirts with top 10. I think he's around quarterback 9-10.
I just want to say Lamar Jackson did not have a better game than that this year. And
not this year. Last year, or 2 years ago, he would have.
Probably 42, 45, 46. He had 2 games in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues. He had 2 games that were better by 3 points and 2 points. So that just 43 points or 37 points and 4. That's a huge game. And you don't have to be better than that.
But if you do,
it's all statflation. People's stats just always get higher. So in a few years, he's going to break it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
600-yard passing games.
Yeah.
Brad, I'm going to go to you
We're
next
due.
because I want you to talk about the Washington football team here. Ryan Fitzpatrick played 9 games and had over 2,000 yards and 13 touchdowns last year. Remember, in some of those games, he came in as a reliever. And from Mike Tagliere here, Fitzpatrick produced QB1 type numbers in 18 of 37 games over the last 4 years, which includes 7 games where he threw 18 or less passes. He's QB 27 off the board right now, has the 9th easiest schedule with a great 12 through 17 schedule. If you haven't got to look at the opponents he's playing, it's going to be very fantasy relevant if you have him and he's the starter at that point. He's projected right now for about 4,000 passing yards and 22.5 touchdowns. So that seems like a pretty safe projection there. Brad, are you going over that?
No, I'm going way under. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's Washington's QB1 this year, but the team has expectations coming off a playoff season and strong free agency moves. With expectation comes pressure, and with pressure comes a shorter leash. Fitz doesn't exactly, have the greatest track record of winning as a starter. So I'd probably take the under on him starting more than like 8 games. That's going to hurt his fantasy values. So Washington fans love to clamor for their backup quarterbacks to play, and Taylor Heineke showed some flashes of promise last year. Fitz finished, I think, like QB 27 in the ranks last year. So that's about like where I think he'd finish this year. They didn't even draft a quarterback in the draft. So I think that's more or less of a vote of confidence for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is, obviously a bridge quarterback, and more of a show of confidence in Taylor Heineke and saying, okay, if we're going to see what you got, if we're going to see that you have anything, this is going to be the year that you show it. So I think Fitzpatrick is only a QB1 kind of in, preseason name, but I think after the season starts, he's actually going to be kind of the same role that Tua had, or he had with Tua in Miami.
Okay, fair enough. I want to go next to the Cowboys real quick here. And John, talk about these Cowboys here. We hear enough of them already, but we're going to talk about them here. Dak Prescott played in 5 games, and even though he got hurt, he was 5th in points per game average at 27 points per game. He was first among quarterbacks at the time he got hurt. He was on pace to throw for 6,000 yards. Obviously, he would have slowed down, but still, it looks like they're progressing from a Zeke-led offense to a Dak-led offense. He averaged career highs in yards per attempt and completion percentage. Right now, Fantasy Pros has him as the 4th quarterback going off the board. John, are you taking him as the 4th quarterback off the board, or is there someone else that catches your eye?
No, I'm even going a little higher maybe. I saw he was going to be a full participant in training camp, which is only good news. And CeeDee Lamb is going to have another year under him. And it's probably going to come up later. But I think rookies last year who missed out on training camp are going to make huge leaps when it comes to getting a full training camp, especially wide receivers where it's timing with the quarterback and everything like that. So I think that's going to work out fantastically in Dak's favor. And you stole some of my points. I mean, he was on pace for 6,000 yards. You don't expect him to do 6,000 yards next year, but it shows you what he can do.
Adam
does have that extra game.
Adam, do you think,
Ooh.
where are you ranking him next year? Are you having him at QB4? I've seen some people put him at like QB2 behind Mahomes. Where do you have him?
Yeah, he could certainly go as early as QB2. I think there's a great argument for a lot of quarterbacks at QB2. I would definitely, I'd probably put him QB5. Take Mahomes 1, and then I'm thinking Kyler 2 right now. Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4. I might flip that. So I'm looking at Prescott 5.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's right around, I think, where, again, he's ranked QB4, so that fits. Let's talk about some running backs, and we'll go a little quicker through these running backs here. So my question to you guys, we'll start obviously going back to the Giants here. Saquon Barkley is a workhorse running back. Right now, the guys behind him, you have Devontae Booker, Brad, your favorite guy, Raquel Armstead, still in the league somehow, Corey Clement. So I'm not too scared. I mean, Devontae Booker, I'm sure will take over the, if I had the drop, Gall Man will take over his role.
There it is.
Yes, love it. So Saquon Barkley, he's kind of been trending on Twitter recently. People kind of wondering how he's going to come back from all the off-season injury stuff that he's been dealing with. Where are you ranking Saquon Barkley as far as, are you taking him in the top 3 or 4 running backs? Do you see a fall in production from him, or potentially is he going to outperform where he's going?
I don't see any justification for taking him ahead of Christian McCaffrey or Dalvin Cook. And in anything other than a full PPR league, I don't even think you can consider taking him ahead of Derrick Henry, unless you just are believing that Derrick Henry this is going to be the year where it stops for him, and every running back who's rushed for 2,000 yards saw a pretty big decline, at least 1 yard per carry the following year, which would be pretty shocking if that happened to Derrick Henry. But I still, in a full PPR league, I'd take Barkley. In a half or a non, I'd take Derrick Henry. Kamara is interesting. If it's Jameis Winston, I'd take Kamara. If it's Taysom Hill, I'd have to really think about that. And I think that makes Barkley basically a top 5 running back. And with the potential to be honest with you, I don't think any running back has nearly as much potential as Christian McCaffrey. He's just, obviously anyone could finish number 1. McCaffrey could get hurt again. But if everybody plays 16 games, I don't know how anyone touches Christian McCaffrey. He's LaDainian Tomlinson. But other than that, there's no reason why Barkley can't be RB2, basically. I just hope he's healthy, and I don't think that he's going to catch as many passes as people think, but in a 17-game season, I think he gets to 50, 55, something like that. He's not going to be an 80-catch guy or anything like that. But yeah, he's tremendous, and just stay healthy, and he'll be great.
Are you projecting him to get his full workload then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I think he's one of those players that if I take him, I don't feel great. He's shown when he's on the field, he can be productive. I'm just starting to get worried with and I know there's been people clarifying that he's going to be fine. He's going to be good to go. But the injuries have been starting to mount already in his career. And like you said, Adam, the Giants offensive line isn't great. So are they going to be efficient? Is it going to be a 20 for 62 and you're going to be hoping he gets 2 touchdowns type of deal? I don't know. That's the kind of the thing I'm a little scared about. Or do you feel the same if you take him?
No, I'm looking forward to taking him. I'm hoping I can take him. I'll take him ahead of Jonathan Taylor, for example. And I think a lot of people love Jonathan Taylor, and they should. I don't really. If he gets 20 carries, there's a great chance that he breaks one for 50 yards. Not a great chance, but a pretty good chance. He's probably the most explosive running back in terms of big plays. Maybe Nick Chubb. It's not like a per carry basis, but that's what Barkley does. So yeah, there are going to be some games that are like that. But like I said earlier when I was talking about Daniel Jones, it's in Jason Garrett's DNA to get running back touchdowns. I think Barkley, if he stays healthy, is going to deliver at his ADP.
Doc, I want to talk about another running back that's kind of polarizing here, and that's Miles Sanders, who, let's be honest right now, Adam, I know you were really high on him last year.
Is this whole division polarizing?
He's kind of polarizing. He's
division every year.
He's a guy that right now, last year, I remember people putting him up to the back end of the first round, and now he's going in round 3 in some draft. People really are down on Miles Sanders. I love him in this offense with Jalen Hurts and just using the read option. I think it's going to open up a lot more holes, as you saw at the end of last year with him. But Doc, I'm curious with Miles Sanders, how do you feel about him? Because I mean, this guy right here, he's again a guy that I don't think is either going to be he can make your draft or he can ruin your draft. How do you feel about him?
I like him, especially where he's going this year. Last year, not as much of a fan for the coaching reason as well. I think Doug Peterson never committed to one running back. I think you feel a little bit better with Nick Sirianni. I don't think he's ever going to be a 20 carry guy consistently. He only had 20 carries week 1 last year, but I think he's going to be a double digits kind of guy where double digit touches where he's getting between 15 to 17 last year. Kind of like a diet Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers where he's going to catch 4 to 5 balls a game and maybe get 13 to 14 carries. Probably a good chance he gets in the end zone. And I think he needs the depth because I don't think he can be an every down back.
All right, fair enough. Brad, I want to go to you next. Let's talk about Antonio Gibson, who's everybody's darling. I don't think I've seen too much bad stuff talked about Antonio Gibson. Came on at the end of last year. He still only has
McKissick.
Yes, he just has J.D. McKissick and Peyton Barber to compete with.
Not true.
Who am I forgetting?
He's got Lamar Miller. They just got Jarrett Patterson.
So how did he not make my notes? Lamar Miller, of course.
Hey,
the
man.
ghost of Lamar Miller. Where's he ranked for you?
All right. So, I mean, people want to assume that, Antonio Gibson's got this workhorse role since he finished RB13 last year. But I think he's going to get a very similar workload to last year and, split receiving roles with J.D. McKissick again and also share some carries with Lamar Miller and Peyton Barber. And then they had a rookie signing in Jarrett Patterson, who made his name in college last year with an insane 409 yards and 8 touchdowns in 1 game. The dude's electric. And to be honest, I think people are way too high on Gibson this year. The league has been long gravitating towards running back by committee, and I don't think Gibson's going to escape that, especially with his, Swiss Army knife skill set. So I really think that, he's not going to be some, every down role at running back this year the way people think he's going to be.
John, talking about committees, Zeke and Tony Pollard have been entering more and more of a committee the last couple of years here. Zeke is obviously been beat up. Obviously missed some games last year. Looked horrible without Dak. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do know that he went from being
who's going to be his quarterback this year, though? Is it going to be Dak again?
I mean, it's going to be Dak.
Then you can ignore all those other games.
I think he also finished like RB6 or something like that.
Yeah.
He had a strong beginning of the year with Dak, but Tony Pollard is a presence now. Tony Pollard, especially on passing downs, he's in there. He's explosive, as you saw at the end of the year. He had some great games for him. I'm very curious because with Tony Pollard being an increasing factor, Zeke does not have the same explosive ability. At least it looks like he doesn't. John, where are you feeling about with Zeke right now? Because
I'm not scared at all. You said it. He started strong with Dak at quarterback. He had 3 touchdowns in his first 3 games, and you're scared of Tony Pollard. Let me pull up like some of his old rushing stats from towards the end of the game and see if that scares you too much. Give me 2 seconds,
Adam.
Because I think I saw something that was 9 carries. I think
podcasting.
there was something that was 9 carries for 12 yards. If that scares you, David,
I was
and
going
you
to say,
think that
Dave,
somebody who's got 9 carries for 12 yards.
I mean, the only game that Tony Pollard started last year, he scored 2 touchdowns.
Adam,
and then he had it with such great games of the last game of the season: 5 carries for 15 yards, 9 carries for 12 yards, 11 for 30. 8 for 22, 4 for 12. What that scares me.
Adam, answer me this. If you're a Zeke owner, are you worried about Tony Pollard getting more of a snap percentage this year than in years past?
No, I don't really look at it that way. He's more of a normal backup now. Gets to spell Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott's not going to lead the league in carries. It's not so much a power thing. It's just Zeke doesn't get quite the ridiculous workload that he used to get, but he still gets plenty of work. And as Dak Prescott would find him in the passing game, he was the number 3 running back in fantasy when Prescott was healthy. So there are questions about how good he is. He looks like he's, we already mentioned Le'Veon Bell. To me, I see some of the same trends where you're not seeing a lot of explosive plays anymore. And that's what really scared me off of Le'Veon Bell last year. But he was running back for the Jets. Zeke's on the Cowboys. They're going to score a lot of points. Also, they had one of the worst offensive lines in football last year, according to Pro Football Focus, one of the worst run blocking offensive lines. That's got to be better this year. So I'm not worried about Pollard. The workload should be great. I think he's a late round 1 pick.
Adam, I was going to ask you, how much do you factor in like projected game scripts into your projections?
I don't do projections. The good thing about Zeke is that game script doesn't matter. Because he's their passing downs back, So and Dak loves throwing to him. It's better for them. They're probably gonna have a bad defense, and then they might have to throw. Remember earlier in the year they were facing like Atlanta, they were facing Seattle, they were facing these teams that got into these shootouts, gave up a ton of points, and also scored a lot of points. It was just a weird start of the year. Dak was throwing like 50 times a game. So I wouldn't take too much. Like you said, he was on pace for 6,000 yards. Just the offense and the defense were both so ridiculous at the beginning of the year for the Cowboys, and it normalized. And there was the injury, of course. I just think I don't overthink it. I'm not going to do projections. I'm not going to project how many pass attempts, how many rush attempts. I'm taking the lead running back who's going to get all the goal line work, who's going to work in the passing game. It's everything you want. It's everything you want. I would draft him in the top 5 if I weren't a little bit worried about him just hitting that wall and being the next Todd Gurley or something like that. It's not going to fall off a cliff this year, but he's trending in the wrong direction. I'd be nervous about him in a dynasty league. I still think he has one great fantasy season left in him, though.
Adam talking like that, he's going to be wanting to run through a wall. So I want to stay with you there. We're going to skip over the pass catchers, rookies, all that. I want to go to kind of the stuff here for time purposes. Let's go to the breakouts, the sleepers, and the busts here for each team. And Adam, I've heard you try to explain this on the show before. I always feel like, what's the difference between a breakout and a sleeper? And it's very hard to explain. I think, didn't you have a good way of explaining it? Because it's definitely hard to distinguish.
Oh yeah, I said it like such a weirdo. Sleepers win you weeks, breakouts win you leagues.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
put that on some merch, man.
Yeah, no, that's how I see it. A lot of people have different definitions. The bottom line is they both have great value on draft day, but I think you expect more from breakouts. You expect them to be closer to the top of their position. Sleepers, you expect to be, number 3 wide receiver or number 2 wide or something like that. Breakouts, you expect to be potential stars.
Okay. I like that. Now we have a formula going forward to follow. Again, you got to like etch that in stone for all the fantasy podcasts to follow. Be like, all right, this is how you distinguish them. But so who is a sleeper, a breakout, and a bust on the Giants? Because again, there's a lot of unknowns with all these new pieces in there.
Yeah, the sleepers I think are the easiest. To me, it's actually Evan Ingram, and I just see him. The guys on the CBS guys, they don't have him in the top 12, and I'm not going to draft Cole Kmet. I'm not going to draft Adam Troutman. I'm not going to draft Mike Gesicki over Evan Ingram. What I'm going to do is, if I do not take a top 7 tight end, I'm just going to wait and I'm going to take Evan Ingram. He's still one of the more talented tight ends. There's no reason why he can't be a top 12 tight end. And he still has the potential to be a top 5 tight end, because quite honestly, they're usually the top 5 is usually not. Actually, it's really like 5 is typical of good tight ends. Top 6, tight end 6 is usually not that good. Ingram could be that. He's still really talented, and I think everybody just assumes the targets are going down because Galladay is there. But why not him as the number 2 most targeted player on the Giants? So he's my sleeper. Breakout would have to be Daniel Jones. I'm not really believing it, but I don't think Kenny Galladay is going to have his best season. I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to be as good as he was as a rookie. It would have to be Daniel Jones. And a bust, Galladay in PPR. Just doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of volume. Could see the target share be lower than what it was. He's a guy that's been great with like 120 targets. Mm-hmm. This is a quarterback who doesn't throw touchdowns. So if Kenny Galladay doesn't get touchdowns in PPR leagues, he could really disappoint you. But I'm just saying that's the best candidate. I don't really think the Giants have a bust because it's Barkley in round 1 and nobody else that anyone is all that excited about.
That's fair. I think Kenny Galladay is someone right now that people don't know how they feel about him, right? That you're in an offense that, again, that likes to run the ball, as you said, with Garrett around the goal line. You're coming up a guy that's missed almost all of last year with an injury, as questionable as it was. I could easily see him busting, especially it's not like his ADP is anything that you can get him at a steal type of value. So no, I like those calls.
In fairness to Daniel Jones, maybe he didn't throw touchdowns because he didn't have a Kenny Galladay.
maybe I really, he could have thrown more touchdowns if they didn't give Gallman all the work down near the end zone.
Yeah.
He still has a ways. Sure. Look,
nobody knows, right?
Galladay and Daniel Jones, you could, if you're the biggest optimist, and I'm not, but if you're the biggest optimist, you could draw the comparison. Was Daniel Jones really much worse than Josh Allen after 2 seasons? Does he have a number 1 wide receiver coming over from a new team and being drafted in round 5 or 6 and thinking,
great point.
Gosh, this team just runs the ball. There's not enough pass volume. The quarterback stinks. There's a chance for Kenny Galladay to be a sleeper at, 50, 60, 70 overall, wherever he's going to end up.
Doc, let's go to you next here with the Eagles. Give me a sleeper, a breakout, and a bust for the Philadelphia Eagles.
So for me, my sleeper is Greg Ward. I think he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver, former quarterback at Houston, dual threat. I mean, we've seen it with Terrell Pryor playing quarterback and then being 1,000-yard wide receiver. If you're a talented football player, you'll find a way to get on the field. So
talking about Greg Ward.
I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago when the Eagles lost everyone, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, and they played the Packers in the playoff game. Greg Ward was making plays.
I like that take.
He got like 13 targets that game, caught like 8 balls.
Why not Rager though? You think
So that's my bust right there. Jalen Rager, when he got drafted, everybody said that was a bust and they would have taken Justin Jefferson over him. He didn't even have that impressive a career in college. 576, 1,061, and 611 receiving yards. Never getting double-digit touchdowns. He's 5'11", so it's not like he's an end zone threat. His highest receiving yard last year was 52 in 11 games. And I think that's a big reason why they drafted Devonta Smith, is because they knew that they hit the what's the expression, that they kicked the tire on Jalen Rager after year 1.
I'm sorry, Johnny. I am mesmerized by your cat in the background.
So it's interesting with Jalen Rager. You got to think he's the 3rd option at best in the passing game. You got to think that Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert got to be the top 2, right? So
no, Greg Ward is 2, Dallas Goedert's 3.
Okay,
I'm riding that train, baby.
So, and then you have a team with Jalen Hurts that also is a running quarterback. Adam, does that worry you for any Jalen Rager truthers out there?
Yeah, of course it worries me. I don't see how they're going to have 3 good options in the passing game. It's just no way. Mm-hmm. If Greg Ward is in fact the number 2 guy, I think that's that's fine. Like, that's a great call. Stick with it. I don't agree with it, but that's your call. I'm not saying that to be condescending.
No, yeah. I like it.
With that, and Rager might just they're a bad 1st-round draft picks all the time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Rager might just be a total bust. But I think if Greg Ward is their 2nd best option, that's bad for Jalen Hurts. I think they need I love Devonta Smith. I'd say he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. I so believe in him, but he is a rookie. I don't know what, you can't expect too much from a rookie wide receiver. Dallas Goedert, I don't think he's like a special player. He's pretty solid. They kind of need Rager to do something, even if it's not fantasy relevant. They need someone to do something. Greg Ward, I don't think is good enough to be the player that elevates Jalen Hurts, and I don't think that Greg Ward with Jalen Hurts as his quarterback is good enough to be fantasy relevant.
Adam,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Adam, I love the Marvin Harrison comparison for Devonta Smith. How do you like that?
Well, it's an easy one to make because of the size. But what I love about Devonta Smith is, you guys saw the video of the Giants fan breaking a hole in his wall when the Eagles took.
Yes.
Yeah. I felt. If I had been single, and he wasn't single, so shame on him. But if I had been single, I probably would have punched the hole in my wall. He's so polished. He's so professional. It just seems like he can run a lot of routes, and he's just, even though he's my size, he's like a man amongst boys out there in college. And I think he's going to be great. Marvin Harrison would be a pretty damn good career, but I'm pretty excited for him.
Brad, I want to go back to you here. Give me your breakout bust and your sleeper for the Washington football team.
All right, I'll start with my I'll start with my my breakout first. I'm gonna go Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas was T9 last year, and I think he can make a leap with either Heineke or Fitz back there in a more quick hitting ball control type passing attack. And not necessarily because he's going to have, these freak numbers, but after like TE4, anybody that has a decent season can get like TE5, so that's really my pick for the breakout. The sleeper and the bust, they're kind of tied together. I mentioned it earlier. My bust is going to be Antonio Gibson. I don't think he's the workhorse that he's being projected to be. And my sleeper is going to be Jarrett Patterson. He went undrafted. He's not somebody, that was highly ranked, but I've seen him play, and he just reminds me a lot of Kareem Hunt. He's just very tiny. He's very powerful. He's quick. I mentioned that 400-yard, 8-touchdown game he had in college. He can catch out of the backfield. He can really do everything, and there's a reason they signed him as an undrafted free agent in that backfield that already has like 6 or 7 people on the depth chart. So I really like what he can bring, and I think they're gonna try to invest in him since Bryce Love is no longer in the picture.
Is this a Jared Patterson podcast now?
Happily. I'm in the fan club.
Him and Zay Jones will light it up this year.
There we go. Well, John, the Zay Jones guy, why don't you tell us for Dallas? Give us our sleeper, breakout, and bust.
Yeah, I mean, sleeper, I don't know if he quite qualifies, but Jarwin, he's knocked out really early, but that just gives him a ton of time to heal. And injury concerns means it's always somebody who can pick up late. And in tight end, I mean, that could make a humongous difference. My breakout is CeeDee Lamb. I think he is going to be like the wide receiver 1 over there in Dallas. And I don't project pouting, or Brad doesn't project poutiness, but I do. And I think Cooper is going to get a little pouty once CeeDee Lamb becomes a wide receiver 1. We've seen him disappear in games in Oakland and in Dallas. So I think, he's tied with bust with Tony Pollard and his 9 carries for 12 yards.
How are you not going to call him his actual name?
Oh, Amari Cooper? Oh, geez.
There you go.
No, but if you're picking Tony Pollard for anything other than a handcuff, then he is going to be a huge bust for you.
All right. Well said, everybody. Well said. We're going to finish out the show strong here. We've got first our question of the week. Talked about nostalgia, so I feel like I had to give that for you. Tell me, you know that one, right?
90s babies.
Hate that song.
You hate it? Why?
Stupid song. It sounds like Speed Racer. That's a 90s song?
That's a movie we should watch, Brad, starring John Goodman.
Oh, we should watch that. And Adam, what songs do you like? I only know what you hate so far.
That's a 90s song? That's 1985, bro.
Oh, no, I just said 90s babies. I don't know when the song came out.
Yeah. I like a lot of songs. I'm a big Chili Peppers guy. I love 90s rock. Love the Foo Fighters, STP. Then I like some of the corny stuff like Third Eye Blind.
Don't qualify it. There's no cool music. It's okay.
All right, yeah. Gin Blossoms. You guys know the Gin Blossoms?
I don't, but I'll look into it now.
You had me up
Are you
until
guys
then.
serious?
Never heard of it.
You're talking to.
I feel like
About You by the Gin Blossoms. The Gin Blossoms, they just wrote these songs that were so likable. They were just so they could be played on any radio station. Like your mom would love it. I would.
Adam, I feel like once you heard
your
our
mom
age,
would love it.
I feel like once you heard our age, now we're just disappointing you.
I mean,
It's a great name for a band for what it's worth.
The Gin Blossoms. Yeah. You ever seen Empire Records?
Yes.
Yeah.
They wrote a song. They have like the signature song of that movie. Till I hear it from you.
I thought Chris Towers was the music guy.
Okay,
You're not supposed to be spitting this much music right now.
Empire Records is like the Breakfast Club of the 90s. I don't know if you've ever seen the Breakfast Club. That movie.
Terrible movie.
Terrible. It's terrible. Only
Terrible
people who grew up
movie.
in the 80s like the Breakfast Club. Empire Records is probably like that too. I wouldn't like it, but for everyone like my age, 36, we love Empire Records.
Well, this podcast is not sponsored by Empire Records. It's sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight. Triple Play Fantasy is now an official affiliate to Monkey Knife Fight, the fastest growing sports betting site in the United States. Use promo code Triple Play and get up to $50 of your deposit matched when you become a new user and use that code. And if you're looking to win some cash, make sure you follow the Triple Play Monkey Knife Fight shows every weekend to give you a 10 to 15 minute look at the gaming landscape with Mr. Bradley K's locks over there to help you win big. All right. Question of the week. Which current NFL player do you think would be the best actor? So, Adam, you're the guest. I'm going to go to you first. The movie of who for the NFL? Who's the guy?
I think Juju.
Movie of the who?
Starting Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he'd be great. He can play a lot of roles. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. He can dance. He's charismatic. And this is a really hard question. So I'm going to say Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay, that's a good answer. I like it. Doc, what about where are you going with that one?
I'm going Antonio Brown. When you're an actor, you need to sell your role. Antonio Brown with the Raiders. Do you remember all of the stuff of, I'm going to retire with my helmet? He gets in a fight, calls Mike Mayock. We're not going to repeat it. Then goes in the next day.
It's not a bad one.
has a heartfelt apology to the team. And then the next day releases a video on social media. Everybody in that locker room said that they forgave him. We thought if his NFL career was over, he's on his best behavior in Tampa. And now it's only probably going to be a matter of time before he gets in trouble again.
I don't know if any of that was acting or if he is just that off kilter.
It would definitely be a drama, whatever movie that is.
That's what I'm saying. Antonio Brown's a great actor.
Brad, where are you going for this question?
I went in the same direction as Adam. I was like trying to think of the most charismatic people in the league. And since he hasn't retired yet officially, I'm going to go with Marshawn Lynch. I think he's going to be in like a Daniel Day-Lewis type role. I see him doing something dramatic and beautiful. He's just got that kind of skill set. So I'm going to go Marshawn Lynch.
I love that you called him beautiful.
That's
probably the first time he's ever been called that.
Yeah. No, he would be great. If you count him, I guess he technically didn't retire yet. So I guess that works.
I'm imagining him in Lincoln or My Left Foot or something.
Oh, I assumed it had to be like a Cheech and Chong movie.
Yeah.
John, where are you going for this one?
If it could have been former, it could have just done an easy answer and said Nnamdi Asomugha, who starred in 2 movies.
But good call.
He's been long retired. So I was going to say Juju because TikTok is basically acting these days. But I guess I'll have to go with Tom Brady only because I'm sure like Mark Wahlberg and all those guys will like just put him in like some buddy film as soon as he retires.
Aaron Rodgers has actually been in like commercials and stuff.
He was in Game of Thrones for like 2 seconds.
He was in exactly.
There's that Brady documentary coming out soon.
Oh
yeah, but just wait for like Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck just to put together a movie just to star with him.
Side note, this isn't football, but do you guys think LeBron James is going to be good in Space Jam?
No.
No.
Yeah, probably bad. Not living up to Jordan.
I think he'll be good.
I think he'll be good too. Like it's not like he's got some big shoes to fill. Michael Jordan wasn't this great actor.
Can you imagine him? Like, I think there's a scene where he's like falling down a shaft. He's like, ah! I feel like it's gonna be such a fake. Like,
those are always awkward to do, though. I can't imagine doing like voiceover for a children's film.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I would throw Gronk in there too. I feel like Gronk would be an awesome actor. He might feel like already been in something. I'm just forgetting. But all right, last segment of the night, our game of the week. Boom. All right.
Wow. You bring a CBS guy on and you play that music, huh?
And we had to pay for that, David.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Soundboard. Which sound do you guys play? I forget.
We have a little intro that, do I have it?
Wow, David, I thought you listened to CBS Pod, bro.
All today from CBS.
Oh no, I didn't know you played the no, something about for like a game when you guys like do Jeopardy.
He means
no, I don't play anything really.
No, we got to get you the you got to get the Jeopardy.
Wait,
drop.
David, we're playing Jeopardy and you didn't just do Jeopardy?
No. I was saying he always does Jeopardy on the show, and
this should have been a music podcast from the jump.
There we go. No,
we could play that if we want to talk about the Packers.
All right. Well then, so the game isn't Jeopardy. The game is a triple play favorite. How this game works is called the name game. I'm going to read a clue, and you must tell me the 2 players involved with a name connector. So I'm going to give you an example of one. Part of a 2-headed attack in the passing game for New England, and a sophomore wide receiver expected to try and make a leap to fantasy relevance. And the answer would be Hunter Henry
Ruggs.
Okay.
The third.
Like
so you have the connector in between the names.
This is my favorite This is like a before and after on Wheel of Fortune, and I love that.
Yes.
No, that's actually, I didn't even think of it like that. No, that's actually really good.
It's a Jeopardy question too. They do that.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I have 7, and then I have an emergency one if we need it. And actually, no, I have 7. So, well, there's no emergency one. All right, so the clue I'm going to give you guys is they are all offensive players. So I didn't throw any defensive players after the debacle from one time that you guys could not guess.
When I wasn't there.
Yeah, fair enough.
You also put a kicker in there. Come on.
And then one of the players is retired, but they're a relevant name. Okay, so one current offensive player.
Let's do it.
Do you buzz in with your name?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 1, known as the pass-catching handcuff and recently joined a champion. The other was a former Ravens running back from Temple that backed up Ray Rice.
Adam.
Go ahead.
Giovanni Bernard Pierce.
Yes. Eric, you might go down. You
know what? He beat me by 2 seconds because I was gonna buzz in.
2 seconds is a long time in these games, Eric.
Yeah.
Number
Not
2,
guys.
the king of slants and a physical runner who's known for his time with the Jets and the Bears.
Eric.
Okay, go ahead.
Michael Thomas Jones.
Yeah, there you go. Nice job. Number 3, the most decorated quarterback of all time and one of the biggest busts of all time.
Tom Brady Quinn.
Oh, nice John on the board. I felt bad about saying that because
a colleague of mine. So.
I was going to say I felt bad about saying that.
I'm a little jealous right now. I feel like I should be able to get one.
Love.
Number 4.
Very handsome, that guy.
Oh,
yes, he is.
Intimidating to be around.
Is he really?
Imagine.
He's just like, he's so good looking. And you're just like, wow, I could never be this good looking. So
the jaw on the man.
Huge. Right?
The jaw is humongous.
Yeah,
it comes through the screen like a 3D image.
Yeah.
Oh, 3D TVs were a thing.
Yeah, 3D TV.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Brady Quinn's jaw. All right.
Shout out Brady Quinn. Yeah. I don't actually think
Brady Quinn, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on. We'll talk about your jaw. All right. Number 4, a big-bodied first-round pick in 2020 that gets no separation, and a slot receiver that was known for his time in Atlanta.
Can you read the clue again?
Huh?
Can you read the clue again?
Yeah. A big-bodied first-round pick in 2020 that gets no separation.
Okay.
And a slot receiver known for when he played in Atlanta.
Brad.
Go ahead.
Kelvin Benjamin.
I'm already telling you you're wrong, so.
All right.
I know mine's wrong too. Is like Muhsin Mohamed Sanu, but that would have been a fun one too.
That's a good one. Actually,
he's way too old for 2020, obviously.
Yeah. So he was a rookie wide receiver last year.
You said the big body receiver was where?
Got drafted by. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. He got drafted by New England.
Oh,
I got it, Eric.
Adam, I think Adam got that one.
Harry Douglas.
Nikhil Harry Douglas.
Yeah, come on.
Adam got it.
Well, let's go.
I rung in with my name.
He said the answer first, which is kind of cheap.
Did I not say my name?
I heard. I think I heard it in the ruckus over there. So I'm gonna give it to him.
Why don't we just call it a draw? And you gave too many.
No draws.
I'll give you guys each a split. You guys each get a half point for that one. All right.
Nice job, Adam.
I regret that when they tie.
All right, we got 3 left. Next one. A forgotten man in the current Broncos passing game and a former Redskins quarterback that got sacked more than any quarterback I think I've ever seen.
That's not a real stat, David.
I didn't I was giving stats. Remember, 1 is retired and 1 is current. He's at best the 4th option in the Broncos passing game and a former Redskins quarterback that got sacked more than any other quarterback I think I've ever seen. The Broncos player had a big year this past year because Cortland Sutton was hurt.
Yeah.
Eric.
Go ahead.
Tim Patrick Ramsey.
Boom.
Oh, that's good.
You got it.
That was good.
Nice one, Eric. Pulling that one from his back pocket.
There we go.
I thought you were talking
about
like
the 3rd retired player you've dropped here.
No.
I was trying to I was trying to think of like Sage Rosenfels and Jason Campbell. I was
thinking John Beck.
Yeah,
No, I remember I said each one had one current player and then one former player, but they'll both be off.
All right.
Yeah, each one has a current and a former player.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Okay. All right.
You should have mentioned that.
I did. Was that not
No,
clear?
I thought you meant we had one total, and then I was like,
Yeah,
I guess
that's what I
Bernard Pierce
thought.
is still playing somewhere.
Am I on an island here, or is that?
You are on
the
an
next
island.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Last two. A running back / wide receiver offensive weapon for the 49ers, paired with a quarterback who stole money from the Minnesota Vikings at the end of his career. Go ahead.
Deebo Samuel Bradford.
Nice job.
Well, Bradford. All right. That's good. That's good. You're good at this game because that was
Thank you.
a bit of a reach.
His name's Sam. I mean,
I was like, do people ever call him Samuel?
I mean, if you go to his player
I'm
card,
still
it says
offended
Samuel
that your
Bradford.
hint was this Redskins quarterback was sacked a ton, which would be any quarterback from the past 20 years.
All right. Well, how would you give a
Sam-
clue for Patrick Ramsey?
Sam Bradford also did not steal money here and that.
Okay, fair, fine. Last one. Has the best high school and college tape, I think, on YouTube, a return threat, and a guy who is known for having had a ton of concussions, and that Chris Berman screamed,
Eric.
"Whoop," every time he caught the ball.
Eric. Tavon Austin Collie.
Oh.
Yo, dude, you cheat. You are like, this is quiz show. You guys don't know that reference, but that's about somebody who cheats on a game show.
Yeah, I was
what
gonna
did you call
say
They are
brothers.
related, so
They're
yeah,
brothers,
there's a
man.
little-
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, this is quiz show right here. That is impressive. That is impressive stuff.
I just
Another vague hint from David. This guy has a cool highlight tape. Check it out.
Tavon Austin has the best college highlight tapes. It's unanimous.
See,
Everybody knows that.
That's brother stuff. That's like inside stuff.
It is not inside
You
stuff.
guys talk about Tavon Austin's like high school and college.
Exactly.
You ever play the game Taboo?
No. How do you play Taboo?
You never play that because you guys would be great at that. You've got like the inside connection.
Oh, is that the game where I give a clue
Sure.
and then he has to guess what it is?
Charades.
On the card that you can't say, but you.
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Shirley's surprise 60th birthday party. They were serving this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
$100 million pyramid or whatever it is.
That's
They
the
could
one
do
I
all
knew.
that.
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
concepts. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, next time I'll make sure that's one of Eric's better games. I'll make sure we have a bunch of different ones we'll do here.
They got the brotherly connection there. It's not fair.
That's fine. Well, Adam, truly appreciate you coming on the show, man. Your presence was an absolute present. Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
This is actually a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. It's great to be here.
Thank you, man. And I know obviously everybody knows about the CBS Fantasy Football Today podcast, but can you tell everybody maybe if there are any fun projects you guys are doing you want to promote or where they can find you on Twitter or anything like that?
Sure. Twitter at Adam Aizer, AIZER. We also have Fantasy Football Today in 5. It's a 5-minute show every morning, Monday through Friday for now. We'll have, I think, 8 episodes per week during the season. And every Tuesday night, we have a live stream on YouTube, youtube.com/Fantasy Football Today. You can also watch all of our podcasts there. But Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a live stream answering your questions. So it's like a live Q&A. That's going to be going on for the next few months and getting you ready for your drafts. So everybody have a great, hope everybody has a great holiday weekend, and it's been a pleasure to be on. And hopefully for those of you that have not heard Fantasy Football Today, hopefully you'll stop by.
The number one podcast, even though you guys trashed me on a take last year. So it's still my favorite pod.
What was the take?
I said Deebo Samuel would be a top 5 or not. I'm sorry. CeeDee Lamb would be a top 15 PPR wide receiver. And you guys,
hey, you could have been right.
It was close.
Yeah.
But no, you guys are awesome. I again, my favorite pod. Jamie and Heath have been on the show too, and you guys are all awesome. So
thank you. We really appreciate it, man.
But stay tuned. We're gonna be back tomorrow, actually, with the executive president of the NFL Players Association. That is DeMaurice Smith. He's going to be joining us tomorrow.
For the 3rd time, David, over there.
He has to keep rescheduling it, but his agent emailed me back. We're good to go for tomorrow, so we are all set for that. So make sure you guys check that out. Until then, we're going to make like a bread truck, and we're going to haul buns. Catch you all later.